Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to get into today. We have the 40th anniversary project. We have some video game updates. We have a big, wide look at how successful Dragon Ball was this year. And we also have an update on Dragon Ball Legends, a bit of a new feature. You'll be getting some free Chrono Crystals and just a new way to access the shop. Let's go ahead and start off with the big anniversary project, which is the complete 42 volume set but with new covers. So it says here Dragon Ball double cover box. So as you can see, it has a new design for the box, bunch of new art, looks absolutely amazing. And these are all covers that they previously did, so let's just go ahead and read what it says here. Not only will these feature Toriyama's original covers, but each volume will also have a newly designed cover by other fabulous artists wrapped around it. So in case you missed it, they did this whole event where they had a whole bunch of artists drawing new covers, and then they announced that it was coming to a conclusion with the final volume. And now we know why they were doing that. They were doing it to basically stock up for this big re-release of the manga. So I think the way this is going to work is it being a double cover. You'll have the Toriyama covers, and then you'll have the new covers, and then you have some new bonuses with this box set. There's going to be 8 original dividers plus a double-sided 42 card set featuring both the original and newly drawn covers in postcard size. So that is really cool. I'm really excited for this. It'll only be in Japan at the moment. Maybe they could bring it to the US one day, or any other country one day. But I think this would mainly just be an art piece for the covers. So I could see a lot of fans buying it from Japan and importing it just for the art. Let's go ahead and talk about some news in the Dragon Ball video game world. This is a big one. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has been rated R in Saudi Arabia for the Nintendo Switch 2. That's right, it looks like that Nintendo is working with Bandai Namco behind the scenes to port Dragon Ball Sparking Zero to Switch 2. Switch 2 is reportedly supposed to be about as powerful as an Xbox Series S, I believe I saw, or it's at least more powerful than a PS4, so I could see them getting it working on Nintendo Switch. I don't know if it would be the best performing on Nintendo Switch. It might be. Again, I don't think Dragon Ball Sparking Zero will be a very graphically intensive game. It's a pretty simple game, it looks like. I guess the most difficult thing would be the destructible environments, but this is pretty promising stuff, so keep your eyes out. We could be getting an announcement for Sparking Zero on Switch 2 whenever we have more Switch 2 stuff coming up. Alright, this next update is basically flying under the radar of every Dragon Ball fan because I'm pretty sure I'm one of the only few people that is still keeping an eye on Dragon Ball Project Multi, and let's just say we may be getting some news about it very soon. Of course, if you go to their X page, it still says the estimated release date for Project Multi is 2025. Now this is interesting because we had the beta last year in August, and now it looks like they're ramping up with the marketing. They posted in their Discord, "Hi everyone, I'm opening trial applications to gear up for the upcoming game release, eyes emoji. Click the box below if you want to apply for staff." And then there was another post where they said, "Last ping for the day. If you're a content creator, apply in content creators for Sweet Roll and Eternal Recognition, a cool roll icon. When are we getting level 3 and natural boosts? And access to other content creators within other Dragon Ball Z communities." So they are ramping up the marketing with that second message. I wanted to read that out because it's pretty important to let you guys know they're reaching out to content creators. They're trying to network because this thing is coming up soon. But the first one was a little bit more teasing with the eye emoji where they said applications to gear up for the upcoming game release. So if something is upcoming, that means it's definitely sooner than later. So we are probably definitely getting an update about Dragon Ball Project Multi within the next few months, and I'm pretty excited for it because I really enjoyed Project Multi, surprisingly so, whenever it came out, because I never played a MOBA. And they just released the Dragon Ball MOBA, and I was like, oh, I gotta check this out. It's in beta. I went ahead and made a video on it, and I included some gameplay. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and apparently they've been making a lot of changes to it behind the scenes. So let's see how it turns out. Again, I'll be making a bunch of videos on it, just like how I make videos on Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and everything else, especially in this Dragon Ball content drought. It'll be nice to have a new game to talk about. And if we're talking about a content drought, let's talk about the success, because even though we haven't had a lot of Dragon Ball this year, other than the Dragon Ball Daima anime, which I really enjoyed, Dragon Ball Super manga that is, it looks like Dragon Ball had its most successful year yet. According to Shane on Twitter, he says, Bandai Namco's financial report of full fiscal year 2025, which was April 1st, 2024 to March 31st, 2025, is out. Interestingly enough, this was the Daima release window. Number 1 was Dragon Ball at 190.6 billion yen. Number 2 was Gundam at 153.5 billion yen. And then number 3 was One Piece at 139.5 billion yen. Again, Dragon Ball comes out on top, but they would go on to say the Dragon Ball becomes the first ever IP to hit 190 billion yen mark in a single fiscal year. So that's a pretty big achievement for Dragon Ball, and I guess you could say some of it has to do with the resurgence of Dragon Ball with Daima and getting more eyes on the Dragon Ball brand overall. But Dragon Ball still held solid numbers even without the Dragon Ball Daima anime. But this is a very significant boost, so I would definitely credit Daima. Possibly even Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Just, Dragon Ball had a pretty good 2024. Toriyama, of course, his passing also probably brought a lot of people back to the series and thinking about buying things for it. So yeah, very good note for Dragon Ball, but we have to have some new content coming soon. Like I said, Project Multi might be coming back soon. The Super Manga should be returning maybe this year or early next year. Hopefully. Let's just hope that we finally get some stuff going. And Akio Yoku did say they had a 10-year plan in place, so let's hope that they're still holding to that. Alright, with all the big news out of the way, I wanted to talk about this and just give you guys a tip. Dragon Ball Legends has a web store open, and basically the idea of this web store, they said according to Twitter, get better deals than in-app on Chrono Crystals and more. A gift of 500 Chrono Crystals is available from the web store to celebrate. So all you gotta do is log in, connect your Bandai Namco ID, go to the Dragon Ball Legends page, and you'll see the 500 free Chrono Crystals there. You'll just go ahead and click them, and then boom. All you gotta do is go to the Dragon Ball Legends app and click on shop, and it'll say it's been delivered to you as a special gift. Anyways, guys, that will be it for this video. A bit of a quicker video today. Not a ton of news, but a variety of news, I guess you could say. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to keep up to date with all things Dragon Ball news and commentary. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace off.